Greetings in the name of the Lord Jesus, Yeshua HaMashiach. This video is titled Countdown to the End of 70 Years. The kingdom is restored and the greatest event in human history is next. This is what I mean. The nation of Israel will experience what I call Israel's 777. 70 years in Jerusalem, 70 years out of Jerusalem, and the final 7 is the 7 years of Jacob's trouble. Now, the first 70 years, Israel, the nation of Israel, spent out of Jerusalem. And the second 70 years, which we've seen recently, was spent in Jerusalem. And the final 7, which makes up the 777, will be Jacob's trouble. Now, on May 13th, 2019, for the first time in over 2,500 years, 70 years in Jerusalem will be accomplished, completing the restoration of the kingdom to Israel. Acts 1 and 6 says, "When they therefore were come together, they asked of him," meaning the Lord, saying, "Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel?" Now we who live in this generation know that Acts 1 and 6 was fulfilled in 1967. This is something the disciples did not know, but it is something that we who follow the Lord today realize. That in 1967, Acts 1 and 6 was fulfilled. Now, 70 years out of Jerusalem has also been completed. Daniel 9:2 says, "In the first year of his reign, I, Daniel, understood by books the number of years whereof the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah, the prophet, that he would accomplish 70 years in the desolation of Jerusalem." So we see through scriptures that the nation of Israel spent 70 years out of Jerusalem when they were taken captive into Babylon. And recently, they have spent 70 years in Jerusalem, and 50 of that 70 years they have spent controlling Jerusalem for the first time in over 2,500 years. What's next? The missing week is next, the 7 years of tribulation. Now, this is what I see. A major event is about to happen in the coming days up to May 14th and after, and possibly after. A major prophetic event is going to happen. Now, in 2015, I made this same statement that a major event was about to happen. And a few days, I believe, later, Russia arrived in Israel, because I never understood how Russia would end up invading Israel. Nevertheless, when I made this statement, a few days later, Russia was in Syria, and I understood. Now, I could be wrong, but this is what I see. Now, I believe that one of these events is about to happen. From this day, which is April 30th, up to May 14th, and possibly after, shortly after, I believe, one of these events will take place. The rapture, number one. Number two, something on the Temple Mount that will allow the Jewish people to pray or begin the process of building the temple, which could be an earthquake or a political move by the Israeli government. I'm not really given much, I haven't really watched or paid any attention to The peace, this President Trump's peace plan, although it's a possibility that that may have something to do with what's about to happen. Number three, war that leads to the destruction of Damascus, and the Temple Mount is damaged by incoming missiles. What I believe is this: one of these events is about to happen. So let's watch. We have a few days before that day arrives, and because we know the Lord said we would not be in darkness, because he said that we should look up when we see all the things, all the signs and events that he said would happen. We know that at some point the rapture will happen. We know that every event that passes by, the actual rapture gets closer. We've seen several events happen from 2014 up to 2018 when in my opinion, all of the signs and events before the tribulation begins took place. In my opinion, the rapture could not have taken place before 2018 because, number one, the 70 years had to be reached. Number two, the covenant had to be confirmed. President Trump confirming that that land belongs to Israel.